so many of us are in this transformational in-between, like myself right now. And these in-between moments can be very confusing and very painful. The more we tap into the feelings that serve us, the more we can serve ourselves a less painful process.
It all begins by understanding the mind.
I want to be happy now. I don't care about the future. I want to be happy right now.
You are not alone. You are never, ever, ever alone in this.
It's helped my voice grow and given me freedom to be creative on my own.
I'm Christina Barsi. Welcome to Be Bold, Begin, a podcast dedicated to you, the creative, the healer, and the innovator. The topics and conversations we have here are designed to help you discover what might be getting in your way and offer you tools, techniques, and guidance to move through them.
I live in the imposter's body more than I live in my own body. I don't have to feel like I don't deserve this.
This is where creativity and healing intersect.
If you decide to be bold and begin, you have the opportunity to feel humbled and empowered. I totally believe that.
I'm a certified Kaizen Muse creativity coach, a certified Reiki energy healer, and an entrepreneur, artist, and presenter. I will share with you my experiences, my proven tools and techniques that helped me and my clients and loved ones shift and expand in the areas they most desired. This is a gentle and open space where you will hear how others are being bold to encourage you to begin your own journey or expand the one you're on. This is Be Bold Begin. Hi, welcome back. This is Barsi, your host. And as this is airing, we are now in October and officially in the season of fall. And October is also Emotional Wellness Month. And it is also the month of my upcoming wedding. I am just 10 days away from our Friday the 13th wedding that we are having at our beautiful new home that we purchased at the end of last year. And we have these amazing hills on our property with big views of the San Gabriel Valley Mountains and Santa Clarita. And it's all really, really beautiful and is truly beyond what I was imagining possible for us to kind of have during this space and time. But there was a lot of connection to flow at the time that I was deciding to look for a home again. And I was letting myself dream really big during that time after coming home from Greece, where is actually where we got engaged last year on October 8th, also in October. And I came back with all of this amazing energy, really high vibration. And by trusting this flow and allowing myself for everything to be bigger than I actually thought possible, then the impossible happened. We found a home in the extremely difficult LA market with very high interest rates. And after we'd been denied for pre-approval for 4 different times, actually, it really made no logical sense to even look at homes at this time, but I was really trusting the process and trusting the timing and tuning into my intentions, and it totally came together, really came into fruition. It did have its bumps, and it was a difficult action plan to execute on, but we basically have our dream home and are about to have our dream wedding. And I'm sharing this with you not because I want to brag about my new home and all these amazing things coming up, but I'm sharing this with you because there's a part of the story that's really important. After we got the house, I fell out of my abundance mindset. I fell out of trust and out of the energy that brought me this beautiful thing that I felt was so impossible and may never happen, actually. And my bank account started to drain and my business started to melt and everything became very strained and very stressed and very out of flow. I was not expecting that. And it sideswiped me even more because I wasn't expecting that. I was really expecting to feel very differently and continuing in that sort of energy that brought everything into my life. So this is something that I think isn't talked about as much, and I want to share about it because it's very real. So what happened? I up-leveled my life quite a bit in a very short amount of time, and the rest of me needed to catch up. So when we jump timelines like this, when we bring something really big that's a dream, that's in this really new version of living, meaning when we bring this new level to our lives, we can't keep living and making decisions the same way that we've been doing in other parts of our lives. And each of these parts require a process of their own. So this mismatched energy felt very confusing and painful to me. And I wavered in and out of trust with myself and my process. There were times where I would be able to hugely tap in again and create the next sort of way of doing things, and lots of epiphanies and creations came out of these times. And I'm just beginning to share this with you, and I'm very excited and also scared to see how it comes to life. Those things that I've been busy creating in the moments that felt in that high energy, in that new way of aligning with this next version of myself. So I'm really excited to talk more about those things. But then there were a lot of in between the creation moments where old ways of doing things and old models of business, for example, were struggling, crumbling, fading away, having to be let go of. And that process comes with a lot of emotions. Letting go of something close to you that you've built from the ground up comes with a lot of difficulty. For me, it does. And I assume and I think that is true for most of us when it comes to letting go of something that maybe we would have kept going if there weren't other types of shifts going on in our lives. It's not necessarily that it wasn't quote unquote working, but there were things about it that were showing me that there was another bigger way for me to achieve and bring things into my life. But that means letting go of old ways of doing things and things that you are proud of, and letting them go. Kind of like when things grow up and they leave the nest, it can feel that way for other things that we create in our lives as well. So with receiving something so magnificent, right? The love of my life and the home that we finally found and all of these things, I also felt a lot of guilt for not being in that abundant and grateful state with all of it. I started to harbor a lot of guilt around that, which doesn't help. It just adds to this sort of negative in-between confusion energy. So my expectations of how I would feel wasn't happening yet. My expectations of how I thought I should be feeling. And I thought I'd have this big sense of peace and contentment and presence and abundance and love and gratitude, and that everything was coming together. And instead, I had to work really hard and intently on bringing those elements in, those energies of gratitude and presence and abundance and even love at times. And my default feeling had become immense stress and anxiety and fear. And I found that surprising. And I wasn't sure what to do with that imbalance, that sort of what feels more like out of harmony with what I was experiencing. So I had a deep knowing that I was needing to do it all differently to continue to enter this new timeline, this new version of what my life was becoming, that I had one foot in already, but that I was holding on to old ways of building my life, which is normal. It's just very uncomfortable. And with that said, also knowing that it's a process for a reason, and it is supposed to be gradual to a degree, or else it will feel very destructive and very abrupt, and maybe even, I think, more painful if everything changed. If, let's say, my whole business disappeared at the same time. Instead, it's these little things that are changing and then allowing me to kind of reiterate and ask questions about how I want to do the next thing, which is how it should go, how it it goes in terms of it being more of a process that you can kind of flow with. So I say I feel out of flow, but I am tapped in. It's just a different kind of flow. And I'm realizing that as I'm sharing this with you, actually, that it is a flow. It's just one that feels a little painful and a little difficult, and trying to get everything to match, right? That's what alignment is. You're trying to get it all to match up. Can be a process of its own. And I think we need to talk about this part of it more, because we talk a lot about the before and the after, but what has to happen to get to that next thing? And this is what it feels like. This is what it is in real time. So through all of this, what I know deep down to be true is that abundance is always available to us as an option. It doesn't go away when we're having a hard time. It's still there. It's just about getting into it, getting into that vibration. And that when I choose to prioritize my connection with myself and my soul and spirit, then it becomes so much more obvious to me that it is available, that it's an available choice for me at any given time. And this is true for everyone. Everything that we can ever want, have, or have experienced or will experience is all available at the same time. It's just a matter of timing and tapping in and knowing when to access those things. But they're there. And so many of us are in this transformational in-between, like myself right now. And these in-between moments can be very confusing and very painful. So I ask you to ask yourself today, what do you know deep down to be true? What do you know deep down to be absolutely true, even though the time right now might be confusing or hard or difficult, or maybe you just experienced a time like this and you're coming out of it? What are you discovering? What did you learn is deep down absolutely true for you? And then tap into this knowing that you can choose to lean in to the scarcity and the fear while you figure it all out during this part of the process, or you can choose to lean in to the abundance and presence and gratitude while you figure it all out. And usually it's a little bit of both, and constantly reminding yourself that you don't have to choose the scarcity, you don't have to choose the anxiety. And that can be very difficult sometimes, depending on a lot of other things, where you're at with your nervous system, and other factors and circumstances going on can make it easier or more difficult. But just knowing that it's possible, can be sort of the light, the guiding light. So sometimes that's enough during the hard times so that you can start stepping more towards that guiding light. And the more we do that, the more we start to trust that it's really guiding us in the right directions. And for me, that means connecting with myself more, making space to do that. And whenever I do that, then I see what else is available to me besides the constant circling of thoughts and the anxiety that comes with that, and projecting into the future all the time. And I also said presence. Presence is really connected. So gratitude helps us be present. And when we're present, we start to really see what's available to us. That's where the abundance is connected to gratitude. It's all kind of the one thing that leads to another, and in a really beautiful way. So even if you're struggling with finances right now at the moment, let's say, this is still possible to feel abundant. And here's why. Because the money part, the financial part, which we need, absolutely, we need that to work out for us. But the money part is an outcome. It's not actually the definition of abundance. It can be a part of it. It's an outcome. It's connected. But rather, the energy of abundance is defining what the outcome of abundance feels like to you, and tapping into that feeling. For example, I worked in places where I was around a lot of people who had a lot of money, but they didn't necessarily feel abundant. They just had an outcome where they had access to a lot of money. So this is why it's actually very different. And there's people who have a fraction of what those people had and do really tap into this energy of abundance. So this is why it's always available to you. The more we tap into the feelings that serve us, the more we can serve ourselves a less painful process. So I'm sharing this with you and for me so that I can remember to do this as well, so I can step out of my own anxiety and realize that this is what's actually true and that I have a choice. And talking with you helps me do that. So to me, a gateway feeling or energy to activate abundance, once again, is gratitude. And for me, I have to share this too. To me, the word grateful, like just be grateful, is kind of lost its charge for me. It feels overused. So I need to practice gratitude in a way that is more intentional than that. So it's things like coming back to that trust with myself and the flow and what's available to me, and knowing I'm plugged in, coming back to a self-love practice, giving myself more permission, connecting to permission, looking for the ease and flow that I'm connected to, like looking for those moments and where do I feel ease and flow, connecting to that, and looking for small moments of joy in each day. So those are the ways those are all connected to gratitude too. But rather than saying, okay, what am I grateful for today? To me, these other things kind of help me slip into that gratitude energy in a way that doesn't feel like surfacey. To me, I needed a sort of a deeper, more action-based way of approaching it. And since I have amnesia, anytime I waver in my flow and connection to my intuitive self, I need to get back to those basics. So having sort of a program like that really helps me, asking those types of questions connected to trust and joy and things like that. So I tend to look at what I've already created too that works and has worked for me before. And then I see what I can do to reconnect with that in my process. So that being said, I would love to share what that was for me. Something I've created in the past it's called a gratitude course. Previously, I've just changed the name. It's now called Activate Abundance, but because that's really what we're doing. But we're tapping into those things I just shared with you. It's a process to kind of get connected with your trust, your self-love, giving yourself permission, looking for joy, and all of those things start to connect you back to what brings you into that abundance energy. And I was just reading through it to help me tap back in, help myself be reminded of what I already know. And that's a powerful tool too. So if you journal or anything like that, where you can go back and read something from a part of your process journey where you were really connected and tapped in and having epiphanies and discoveries and doing new things and creating and finding answers for yourself, that's a great way to kind of reconnect to that part of yourself too. So because I was sort of looking over this, it brought me back into my abundance really gently and really easily. And because it's actually a 4-week audio course, I thought, why not release it again and make it available to anyone else who might be looking for that connection that I'm trying to remind myself of as well. So it's an audio course and it's designed to be simple. It's designed to be really potent. It's also really simple to engage with. I made it really like low touch and lots of absorption in the way it's designed. So there's a short 5 to 10 minute audio recording in each module it's kind of like a meditation in the way that it's structured, with brain stimulating questions to stimulate the subconscious mind, to penetrate on the subconscious level, which means all you have to do is listen. And that yields deeper shifts that then percolate on its own. So again, all you have to do is listen to 5 to 10 minutes of this audio. And that's an epiphany inducing. That's what brings shifts into your life. And the timing will be up to you. It's different for everyone. So I can't promise that you'll have an epiphany every single week, but I can share that the way it's designed is to start bringing these kinds of energies into your process, into the way that you think on this very subconscious level that is really positive. So each week also comes with a themed exercise and some guidance on how you can further your practice with journaling, with the questions that are shared in the audio. And of course, there's also the actual exercise that is paired with the audio for each week. So there's 4 modules. It's 4 weeks. You're supposed to kind of listen, see if you feel like journaling. That's up to you. That one's kind of optional, but if you want to spend more time with the questions, you can. And then there's an exercise, and each week should take maybe 30 minutes max to kind of spend time with, and the rest is done again in the between lessons. So you're processing between, and that's really where the change happens, is allowing yourself that space and not having too much to do. It's really allowing the space in between. So I just read through the weeks of the course, like I said, and again, I already have shifted back into an energy of abundance and out of my fear and scarcity. And it's just such a gentle and potent course. And I wanted to share it with you again. And I love sharing this around this season in fall, because it's just where I start reflecting. And I feel a lot of us start to do that around this time, and having that sort of self-care support moment with yourself and really dedicating some time to you and thinking about how you want to churn the next page. This is a great supportive way and low commitment way to slip into that space with yourself. So of course, I want to give you a discount. I want to give you some percentage off for being a listener and for spending time with me here. So if you click the special link that I made for you in the show notes, you will get 11% off for being a Be Bold Begin listener for the Abundance Activation course. And it's self-paced. It comes with a course community and access to me directly. So if you have any questions or want to DM me and chat, etc., I'm in there. And it's a great way to kind of keep the conversation going and share with me, because I always get to share with you. I would love to hear from you as well. And this is a nice curated space for that. So I'd love to help you transform any anxiety or fears, anything going on with you, into gratitude and presence and peace. So this is what I've made for you. I've updated it to kind of serve in the ways that I just shared this time around. So just click the link in the show notes to check it out. And once you purchase, you'll have lifetime access to the course and the community as well. So thank you for listening and allowing me to share the real process with you to creating change in your life and what's really been going on with me this year, because it has been an amazing one, but with that comes a lot to work through. And we always have a choice to tap into the good stuff when we really need it. And you deserve that. And you're not alone. So I hope to see you inside the community for this course. And until then, I'll see you next week. We hope that these episodes inspire and empower you to take your next steps in your own intuitive journey towards a life or business that feels clear, authentic, and aligned.